That's me in the old days. So you got to help me out, because otherwise I can't do this talk. You can, TED Talk got a little rhythm? Ottawa got a little rhythm? Turn up that James Brown beat. Turn that up. Let's do this. We call it soul clap. Ready? Together. Now see, my energy's going up. I'm starting to want to dance. I'm an old school dancer. I'm a b-boy. I ain't doing backflip today. That's me in the old days. I used to spin on my elbows. All right, we can kill the music. I'm going to get going on my talk. Okay. Thank you for having me here. Who is Buddha anyways? My mother does not call me Buddha. It's Stephen. And it's Stephen when she's angry with me. Often she phones me and says, "You're not still doing that flip to your back, are you?" Stephen, right? Now you can call me Buddha. Everybody else calls me Buddha. We should get it out of the way right away. Why am I called Buddha? Now in hip-hop, I've been dancing for a long time. You're not supposed to just grab your name and give it to yourself. It's supposed to be almost like a spirit name that your crew gives to you. Now, I would like to think that I'm the wise old man. I used to have a shaved head. I think maybe that's why they call me Buddha. Nah, it was nothing as glamorous as that. Even when I was a young buck and really in shape and doing my stuff, getting down all over the place, couldn't fight it, always had a little bit of a tummy. And my crew used to rub my tummy for good luck before we go on stage. So we'd be backstage in the early days. I was laughing because when James Brown came to town in the 80s at the Congress Center, we opened for him. Backstage, rub Buddha's tummy before we go on for James Brown. Right? I've had a long history dancing. I'll cover the dance piece first. I've been dancing since I was 15. I'm 32. No, I'm not 32. I'm 32. No, I'm 52 now. I'm 52. I've been dancing for 37 years. Never had a dance lesson in my life. Man, I wear that like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? Because in the clubs in the old days, I'd just strut and be like a street dancer. Now, I ain't done that hip-hop choreography, the Janet Jackson. I haven't done that. Right? Self-taught with my friends, with my crew. And I'm going to talk a bit about the importance of the crew later on. So I've been street dancing for a long time. I've been a b-boy. You know what a b-boy or a b-girl is? Yeah, we're the dudes who spin on our heads. So I've been doing that since 83. So I don't know, what's that, 28 years? I'm often a judge at like events and stuff, right? They bring out the old b-boy to judge the young cats. So a couple other things. I'm a father. I'm very proud. I learned a lot from my children. I have 3 kids, and I have a special needs son with Down syndrome. And I got to tell you, I have learned so much from him. And it brings an extra special place in my heart in the work I do with you today. To go, it's not good enough just to include them. We got to find ways of making them the center of attention to shine sometimes. Right? Who's with me on that? All right. So the other thing is, I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for, I don't know, 30 years or something, all frontline work. I did a master's in social work. I was always the oddball, though, was always questioning things, going, yeah, but I don't really understand why we got to spend 90% of our time behind the desk doing risk assessments. Shouldn't we be out with the families? Shouldn't we be doing this? So that was the kind of social work. I've done lands-based programs, wilderness programs. I've been a probation officer. I did child protection, which is one of the hardest jobs, right? I used to do sexual abuse interviews with the kids, investigations. Learned a lot from doing that, but also got a little bit cynical about bureaucracy and how it actually helps us delivering systems to the people in need. So a lot of frontline experience for years and years, but 2 things sort of converged. I've always been a dancer, and I've always dug helping people, and I had a particularly soft place in my heart for angry young men. When I tell my story, you're going to understand. That was me. It's just sitting in the back, percolating all the time. Right? When you're an angry guy, you manage your anger, but it's still there. You'll understand when I get into some of this. So, I've been a social worker for a long time, and I got to tell you, most of the stuff I learned was in the real world doing the work. I came out of Carleton University, the MSW program, right? You're interviewing a kid who's 5 years old who's been raped. A lot of the theories that I learned weren't helping me. Felt kind of alone and desperate sometimes. Anyways, I've converged those two things, and I got out, and 6 years ago I developed my own program, and we are now considered one of the biggest outreach programs in Canada's Arctic. Social work through hip-hop, healing through hip-hop, leadership through hip-hop. And I'm going to talk a bit about that, but I'm going to talk a lot about healing. Because I really think we don't pay enough attention to mental health in our world today. And if we don't pay attention to mental health, then yeah, we have a lot of bullying. Yeah, we'll have suicides. Yeah, we'll have addictions. And the stuff just compounds, and it feels like a big hairball of chaos. Any of you been to the north? Anybody been to the north? I've been to about 45 communities in Canada's Arctic. And I believe in my heart I'm doing the most powerful social work and outreach that I've ever done. But it's also because of the strength of my team, Canada's top street dancers, right? But they all got stories just like mine. Real people working with real people, rolling up the sleeves face to face. So I'm going to roll like this. Here's my proposition that I'm going to try to get across to you, and hopefully by the end, you're going to kind of dig it a little bit and go, yeah, Buddha's not so stupid, right? The proposition. Hip-hop helps people heal, it can build communities, and it can lead the world as a model of diversity, inclusion, and respect. Now, I know every time I see the same dudes at the mall, and you want to pull up their pants and stuff, you go, well, I guess that's diversity or something, right? There's a lot of negative stuff about hip-hop, but this is the world that I believe in, because I believe that it can be a model. And I look at my own team, we're all black, white, Asian, Inuit, Cree. We are the faces of the world today. And it's not about the color of your skin, it's about the love and passion you bring, right? As a dancer, I'm checking people out. I'm like, yo, can he do that? Yeah, he's got some moves, right? Trying to see if it's real. So that's my proposition. I also have the saying, each one teach one. I got a big tattoo on my leg. I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to take my pants down and show you that. But anyways, it's one of my messages to the kids. It's actually a Zulu Nation saying that goes back in hip-hop, that we have a responsibility to mentor and teach each other. So when I'm working with an Inuit kid up north and I got an angry 15-year-old, I'm like, you know, your 9-year-old brother thinks you're the most important person in the world and really looks up to you. You, even though you're 15 and got a hairball of chaos in your life, you have a responsibility of mentoring to your little brother. Because if you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day or sniff gas, guess what? He's going to think that's the way to be cool. So that's one of our messages. Hip-hop is used as a community development tool around the world. I absolutely believe this. Who likes CBC radio? Okay, so I'm listening to CBC radio one day, and I hear some guy from the United Nations talking about hip-hop. I was about to turn that shit off. I was like, nah, another self-proclaimed academic prophet writing about my culture and never lived a day of what it feels like in the dance cipher. Never felt what it was like to battle. But then the dude said something that made my ears perk up. He was like, well, in my estimation, I've been to 75 countries around the world, and the strongest tool I see for self-empowerment and outreach for youth and blah, 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 is hip-hop. I was like, oh, damn. Turn that up. Homeboy's on point. Right? And I absolutely believe this. But you know what? There's a lot of smart people out there who develop youth programs, whether it's for First Nations cultures or for youth in our urban cities. A lot of smart people get paid good money. Never stop to ask the kids what the hell they're interested in doing. Right? Drives me crazy when bureaucracy gets in the way of doing good work that needs to be happening to change the mental health of our young people. So I always say this. I say, well, God love you. You know, you want to change the world. But if you can't get the kids to come, don't mean diddly squat. You hear me on that? And a lot of money gets pissed away that could be going towards things like suicide prevention. It has also been embraced by First Nations and Aboriginal cultures around the world. Okay, check it out. When they saw the movie Flashdance, like me, who remembers Flashdance? Jennifer Beals trying to get inspired, she goes and sees the street dancers, and the dude spun on his back. Same thing. When I saw that in the early 80s, I had to see that film 10 times. Because I'm like, I don't know what that was, because nobody had ever seen a backspin before. I was like, but I need it. I need it somehow. Give me some of that hip-hop, hippity-hop, whatever it is. We didn't even know it was going to be called hip-hop in the early days. Well, you know what? That's the way the Maori kids felt when they first saw it in New Zealand. Because guess what? When the white guys came in the ships and sort of took over everything, the Maori kids on the street stand back and go, yo, but what about us? There's hoods all over the world where kids are standing back going, yo, but what about us? And I think hip-hop still exists because they believe in their heart they can adapt it and make it their own voice. This is so important. Who believes that it's important that we don't pay lip service to the thing of kids having a voice? Put your hands up. That means walking it, talking it. Not going, oh, let's do an RCMP report and ask the kids what they say in the questionnaire, and then we can say in Parliament that we listen to the kids. No, it ain't like that. Now, lots of people have written books on hip-hop, and I get all that. We used to go to the South Bronx in the early 80s and hang out. And yeah, it grew out of gangs, and it grew out of the Bronx River projects. My theory, which a lot of people, a lot of heads would agree with, old heads, is it was born out of desperation and rage. I'm going to talk about rage, because that's the thing I understand, and a lot of young men understand, right? And also, that's my theory about, because you could ask, you go, well, why hasn't the hippity-hop disappeared? Hula hoops went away. I don't think rage or despair has disappeared in the world. You feel me on that? So when young cats, even though hip-hop may evolve and change, they're looking at it and go, I can still use that in some way. I may not intellectually fully sorted it out, but I dig it and I can make it my own. So, who likes personal stories? I'm going to roll the personal story like this, because when I talk to the kids in the Arctic, I want to mentor. Validating their personal stories is one of the greatest ways of healing. Right? And it blows my mind that down here we don't teach our own children, our high school kids, we don't talk to guys about validating their emotions in high schools. I tell the kids straight up, strong men cry. Who believes that? I tell the kids straight up, strong people ask for help. Who believes that? Why the hell ain't we telling this story then in our schools and systems and bureaucracies? Right? So here's my personal story. It's a pre-hip-hop story. But it, to me, represented the essence of me internalizing the music and wanting to feel the beats move through me in the 70s. So my personal story rolls like this. Oh, actually, no, I want to tell you. So when I tell it to the kids, I say, thank you for listening respectfully in advance. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because I want them to listen. Because it still hurts, and you're allowing me the chance to continue my own personal journey, healing, by telling it to you. I've told this story 100 times. Don't mistake it to think that I don't still heal and need that. But I give myself permission to go, yo, it's okay that it takes me a whole life to heal. It ain't a race. Some bad shit happened to you, it's going to take your life to heal, right? So give yourself permission. So my story rolls like this. Grew up in a big family of 9 in Saskatchewan. Culturally, we were inundated with one TV station that had Don Messer's Jubilee and Rex Humbard. Family of 9. Then we moved to Southern Ontario in a small town near Windsor and Detroit in the 70s. Check it out. My mind was exploding with Motown, funk, Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire's, Kool and the Gang, George Clinton, Parliament. I was like, ah! This is crazy. Because, you know, it's like when music's important when you're a kid, right? You internalize that. Plus, come on, funky beats, that's extra important, right? But I was the new kid. And I was a little kid. 16 years old, 4'7", 85 pounds. I know that's hard to believe. Looking at me now. This is real. This is not Photoshop. This is the fashion back in the 70s. Used to piss me off. I go to the store and somebody be like, can I help you, ma'am? I'd be like, fine. Yeah, I'm a dude. Come on. You know? Satin shirts, chokers. Now, bullying's been in the news a lot lately, right? Check out my story. I'm the new kid. I want to fit in, grade 9. Big garbage can in the cafeteria. You know the big ones? Hey, he's so small. Wouldn't it be funny if we just pick his ass up and shove him deep down inside the garbage in front of 500 people? Everybody laughed. Made it worse. Everybody laughs. So I try to pick myself up, compose myself, climb out of the garbage, ketchup and mustard on me. Ain't no biggie. I'm fucking raging inside. Do you understand the rage? They get me alone in the hall. Boom, boom, in the corner, punching me in the arms. I go home, my arms would be black. I wouldn't tell anybody because I didn't want my dad rolling in causing a big ruckus. I suffered silently. I want you to taste this rage for a minute. Imagine this one. In the hall, you know what a wedgie is? Right? You grab someone's underwear, pull it up their ass. They grab me, and they rip my underwear so hard, they rip it and pull it right out, and then throw it down the hall for everybody to see. I wanted to kill these guys. I'm just going to be honest. So what started to happen is I would go home, and I would lie in bed. I'd start smoking dope all the time. 15. I get that. I get kids sniffing gas up north. Right? So, I'm smoking dope stoned, and I'm doing break and enters. And I'm talking about just stupid break and enters, but I'm so raging. I'm with some friends. It's like, we want donuts? That's the donut store? We just kick the fucking door in and run in and grab donuts. And then sit in the train cars and eat them and laugh about it. Right? I'm raging. So one night, and then the other thing is, I got to show you a picture of my beautiful sister. We're best friends. But it really pissed me off that my sister was a foot taller than me, a year younger than me. Guess who became one of the targets of my anger and rage? We know this in bullying, right? And she never betrayed that because she knew I was hurting inside from the stuff that was happening. So I'm lying in bed and I had an epiphany. I had that light go off. I had that aha moment. I'm like, yo, man, maybe I didn't say that back then, whatever, right? But I'm like, I'm hurting myself over and over again. Now, the most important thing, I got to set the stage. The most important thing to do as a teenager in Southern Ontario in the 70s, with all that funk and Motown, was getting down at the roller rink 6-7 nights a week. I'm telling you, that's where the magic is. I still have dreams about it, visualizing myself strutting them red wheels. There used to be crews that would come from Detroit. Because I'm talking about, hip-hop's a lot about swag, too. It's about how you carry yourself, your presence. Right? Crews would come from Detroit. They're already 6-foot-tall black guys. Now they got another foot fro, and they got a Black Panther pick shoved in it, and they got a crew shirt that says Rink Rockers. And they're like strutting like this together. Everybody back up and go, oh, damn, Detroit's here. I'm a little white kid going, I need some of that. I don't know what it is, but I need that swag. Right? So I had that epiphany lying in bed. I'm like, all the bullies go to the roller rink. All the pretty girls go to the roller rink. I got my hormones raging too, because I'm 15. I'm little, but I got hormones. Right? The pretty girls want to skate with the best skaters. The bullies want to skate with the pretty girls. It seems very obvious to me in my stolen little 15-year-old brain that I just got to become the best little roller skater in Southern Canada. And then the pretty girls will skate with me. Now in hip-hop we have a saying called, go back to the lab. So I got the keys from my dad, who was the United Church minister. And I set up tables in the church basement. I would practice. I would like spin on one foot. I would jump over tables. I would do all my things. And I became that little guy. So when the rink rockers from Detroit strolled into town and they're strutting their stuff, right? I'm going to play a beat. We're going to recreate the roller rink, okay? Check it out. Rocking the red wheels. Turn it up. That's my man, James Brown. Get up off that thing, right? Rink rockers are doing the things. People are locking on roller skates. And I could blaze down the middle like this. Spinning on one foot, full speed. Dive, round off, back handspring, jump into the splits. Press all the splits, spin around, jump up, block. And look at the bullies and go, yo, what you got? Right? You understand how I channeled that anger to reclaim a sense of, I'm an important little dude. I'm worth living. Right? So it even gets better than that. The magic moment. The lights are going to go down. Hormones are raising. All the girls are over here. They're going to put on the Commodores or Marvin Gaye or the Manhattan's Kiss and say goodbye. Right? And so when I skated up to the girls, oh, they're taller than me. Yo, would you like to skate with me? Right? Put your arm around them and maybe you skate backwards with them slow. And where were the bullies? On the sidelines some of the times, right? That same kind of fixation with channeling anger I used when I developed my youth programs in the North. Because sometimes the kids can't even sort out how they feel. There's just so much going on. But we can try to build resiliency, right? We can try to make them stronger. So then, this is pre-breakdancing, right? Then, now check it out. Real men wear tights. Let's get that out of the way right away. I'm the good-looking guy with the white hair. I went on to develop what was considered Canada's most famous b-boy breakdancing crew. We were the first breakers on Much Music. We opened for James Brown, Ice-T, Black Eyed Peas, George Clinton, Grandmaster Flash, Cura Ballet, first time they came to Canada, private show for them. La La La, Human Steps if you're into modern dance. I don't say that to brag. Okay, a little bit of bragging. Most importantly, imagine the memories we had together as crew, right? As family. Because some of these guys didn't have fathers in their lives. This is the part where I take my coat off. I wore my colors today. You guys know what colors are? I wore my original crew shirt. I wore this. It was fun. I was speaking to chiefs of police, all the gang prevention specialists from across Canada. I said, I'm going to take my coat off and I'll show you my colors. I said, well, I'm going to dance us. Right? We were like a gang. Canadian Four Masters. Shout out to my original crew. Trevor's a DJ at the Mercury Lounge. People don't realize he was probably the top street dancer in Canada in '85. Mads was Cirque du Soleil. You know, Rob was abused by his scoutmaster and talks at schools publicly about it. If they were here in the room, they would say that if we didn't have each other in a male bonding way, we're like a gang too busy working out the dance floor to cause all that other shit that could go on in our lives. But more importantly, we were there for each other, which is very important. So, if you've never been to the North, it's complicated. And I don't want to do a doom and gloom story on the Arctic because it's not like that. There's great strengths and resiliencies of the kids that I work with. But the basic idea is that I want to talk about all these things because a lot of it's not being talked about. People aren't talking about sexual abuse and it happens. So why don't we talk about it and give kids ideas on how they can do safety plans or heal inside? So, in 6 years, I did the first program, thought, it was just one. Word of mouth made us grow. So I got a little business, a social work company that was self-sustaining year one. Why? Because we're doing a lot of the work that the government's not doing. And it's so needed. Word of mouth. Next community said, can we have that? Can we have that? And I got to tell you, my staff, some of my staff have been raped. Some of the B girls on my team. You don't think that's more powerful, them talking directly to the Cree girls or the Inuit girls about their life experience than the social worker? Because they think social workers just take the babies away. It blows their mind that I'm a social worker. They ain't used to that. Plus, I got tattoos. They're not used to that either. We've been to all these places all over the Arctic. The concept is that what we do, I don't want to do kind of like, the hippity-hop superstars come to town, and let's idolize them. I do these 5-day intensive workshops where there is no other school. We become the replacement school. Guess what? The kids show up, right? And when I tire them out through dance and they're working in teamwork and confidence is going up and they're working with the bullies and they're all side by side and it's a safe space, they've never experienced a safe space. Some kids, believe it or not, have never felt safe in their lives. At a minimum, I'm like, government dude asked me for an evaluation. I say, well, how was that for an evaluation? Kid felt safe for the first time in his life, right? So when we tire them out, progressively through the week, we talk about the ish going on in their lives. Sexual abuse, all this stuff. So here we are. We become the school curriculum. I bring 10 dancers and we work with 100 youth. We now have healing programs. I call it retraining the adult brain. Because adult brains need to be retrained. We forget that it was fun. We forget to be spontaneous. We make a lot of lists, all this stuff. So I make teachers come and humble themselves and go, no, in my class, you're equal with the kids. Mr. Police Officer RCMP from Pond Inlet, come and humble yourself and be a participant. I don't care if you're scared to dance. So are the kids, right? We always bring traditional culture, and I see the kids with the 50 Cent hat on, tipped sideways, and they're acting like they're all that. I'm like, how come you ain't never been to, like, New York? Why you know? They got to understand that they have wonderful culture. So we do things like throat singing and beatbox together. An ancient tradition, making sounds and wind sounds and stuff. Like jazz musicians. We call it throat boxing. Traditional drumming, every culture has a drum. Do this, put this on your heart. You got a drum. What a great gift God gave you, right? Get down to the traditional drums. They have their own Arctic sports movements. This is B-Girl Lynx out of Montreal. She's trying the one-arm reach. Well, it looks like a B-Girl, B-Boy pose. Now, we hear a lot about residential schools, and I get that, but I'm also about how do we bring generations back together, and how do we celebrate human moments. Great-grandma knows nothing about the wheels of steel, but she's willing to try scratching because she wants to have that human moment with her grandchildren. Even the stance, right? She's got it going on. There's traditional dances, cultural graffiti. We do graffiti every project we go, but it's always their ideas, always in their language, always with their own symbolism. Why do they got narwhals? Because they hunt narwhals. That's what they live on in Arctic Bay. Youth with disabilities, I've got wonderful, wonderful stories. This is his twin brother. When Timothy, for the final battle, we all get together and we're doing this battle. 50 kids against 50 kids, and the whole community's out. And his twin brother takes him out and sets Timothy in the middle of the dance floor, and Timothy can only do this to the music. Over. Not a dry eye in the house. A moment of community hope. I'm not even watching the kids. I'm watching the elders and parents because they're sobbing with their chest heaving up and down with such pride and happiness that there was that moment of community together. So I think it's important to operate on many levels, on that community level and the individual level. This is the crowd that wouldn't go home after we're done. I'm going to end with the Pond Inlet Frost graffiti story because in hip-hop we talk about something called something out of nothing. And something out of nothing means we make something out of nothing. Right? But it's a cool concept because not everybody's got money. So I'm on a conference call after we left. 70 kids show up twice a week for the hip-hop club in Pond Inlet, top of Baffin. And teacher phones me, we're planning a leadership thing. She goes, "But I got to tell you, man, kids get frost graffiti." I'm like, "What? I never taught you frost graffiti." She goes, "Check it out. One of the girls passed away." Now, I don't know if it was a suicide. It's actually irrelevant if it was a suicide. But a couple of magical things happened. All the kids got together, and there was a gathering for 70 kids to hug and support each other and be real with each other that wouldn't have otherwise happened. They would have suffered in silence alone in their own homes. That's good. Then somebody came up with the idea and said, "I have an idea. Let's go do frost graffiti." Now, you can't do that in Ottawa because you don't get frost on all the outside of the buildings. Up there, the buildings get covered in frost. They took off their warm sealskin mitts. 70 kids walked around all night and used the warm blood in their fingers to melt and tag and trace messages of missing their friend, of affirming life that you couldn't give up on it, and just expressing their emotions. The next day, parents and elders didn't even go to work because the whole community was walking around reading the messages. And as a parent myself, I know what they were thinking. They were thinking to themselves, we got good kids. Isn't that what we really want, those of us who are parents? Even if our kids aren't just like us. They didn't stop there. Then the kids went to their homes. They got cans of food, and they lined up at the home of the person who had passed away, expressed their condolences, and handed food to the family. I heard this. I started crying on the conference call. It's like, that's hip-hop. And you know what? The cool thing about this, every time I speak at universities or whatever, it's like, well, we're going to lock down frostgraffiti.com because someday when it's rolling and the Russian kids and the Swedish kids and the Norwegian kids are doing frost graffiti, you're going to have to give it up and go, yo, that was started by Inuit kids in Nunavut. How cool is that? Something out of nothing, right? I'm going to end. So when your world is full of chaos, which happens, right? And you can taste that rage, the same rage. I guarantee if you haven't tasted it, you will at some point. Be inspired by the kids of the North. Listen to your own drum. Let the music of life flow through you. And ask yourself, what art can help you heal? Peace.